Yeah, I want to start like this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the first official episode of WorkWoman. It is not supposed to be in this house. We were going to shoot this entire thing in the studio, but we are quarantined. And what just happened that was pretty funny is the lawnmower just went right across this side of the house, and he looked at us and he left. But we were just like, should we keep going or should we not keep going? And we decided not to keep going, but this happened like 20 seconds ago, so I feel like we kept going. So this is a brand new podcast. I actually recorded the first 4 episodes prior to Corona and was going to launch this last week, but it felt a little insensitive. And I think quite a few business owners out there can appreciate that, where you created all of this content, you had all of these things that were in place to end Q1, and all of a sudden, every single thing that you had planned was put entirely on pause because you don't want to come across as insensitive. So, how do you make an adjustment? How do you make a change? How do you start with something that isn't perfect when you had the perfect plan in mind, but all of the factors around you changed? What's funny enough is the very first episode of what was going to be this podcast is called Start Messy. And it was just about the idea of starting messy, starting from a place where you don't exactly know what the outcome is going to look like. And even though I'm not naming this episode Start Messy, there couldn't be a more perfect way to acknowledge just how messy things are right now. Things are not in some perfect little box where we're hitting our Q1 targets and we're set up for Q2. Today is April 2nd. So it's the second day of the second quarter of the year. And our business is a little off from where we projected it to be. I'm certain that yours likely is too. And so, with that, in order to make a change, in order to start messy, you just have to start. You have to create the resources, the time, and think differently with the times that are presently happening. So, for this episode and for the next few episodes until we're through all of this, I want to make Workwoman all about how to navigate the workplace while this crisis is going on. I want to be able to give you tips and tools and resources and the things that we're giving the businesses that we work with at Cardone Ventures and the things that we're giving our teams and make it just accessible to you. I think that this is a huge part of content that we just never really share. I kind of sometimes have left it to Brandon to do this, but then I've really just stayed silent because I've been so busy in the day-to-day. Out of the 2 weeks that Corona has been affecting our business and the way that we operate, I have been working 12 or 14, sometimes 15-hour days just getting caught up in order to restructure things so that now I can start having a little bit more breathing room to do things like this. But that's part of it, is that this was not a priority. Me creating podcast content or launching a new podcast was not a priority because priorities change in times like this. And if you're a business owner out there, I know that you feel that right now. I know that you feel that it's just not what it was. So I want to walk you through some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that I'm doing. I'm going to start today's episode. I'm going to make today's episode about what I'm personally doing to be the very best version of myself on the other side of this. Some of the episodes will be talking about what you should be doing with your pricing, how you should be looking at your team members and the planning process if you are in a position where you're going to have to lay off team members, how you should be looking at structuring your finances and potentially be able to leverage some of the stimulus packages that are available to you. But today I want to keep it close to home. Quite literally, we are in my home right now. With the immediate changes that I made as soon as this happened. So, stiffening discipline. So, in a time of crisis in the past, I don't think that I would have known what to do. If it wasn't for the Cardone community, I think I would have probably responded in a way that seemed quote unquote normal. Binge watching Netflix, staying glued to the news, just getting wrapped up in everything that's going on and taking the position of being a victim in this, having this happen to me, not choosing to use it as something that's happening for me. And not to say that those things can't be okay in moderation, but those are not the ways that you cope with the situation if you're thinking about it from the perspective of who do I want to be and who do I need to be on the other side of this? Like, how can I use this as my opportunity to fundamentally change everything that I want to change in my life in order to use it to catapult me to this next level? So with that, some of the things that I've decided to do around this idea of stiffening discipline. So I was already at a pretty good rate before. We have a family interruption. Oh, well, you want to say hi? Just come in. Just come in. Brandon just came in. He doesn't want to walk that way, but he's already like, he doesn't get that this is just going to be what it is. All right. Well, he does not want to say hi. Brandon's writing a book. Did he shut the door? At least he shut the door. Stiffening discipline. Back to that. So I wanted to make a very conscious decision, and that was to entirely use this time to be a different person on the other side of this and not let this happen to me, but to use it to let it happen for me. And if that's one thing, if that's one sentiment that I could share with anybody who listens and consumes my content, it is how can you use this to make it happen for you? How can you latch onto the opportunity that it's creating? It is not creating an opportunity for everybody, but that is a choice that you get to make if it's happening for you or if it's not happening for you or if it's happening to you. And if it's going to happen to you, then continue to watch Netflix, continue to smoke or drink too much or do things in order to pretend like all of this isn't happening. Like, move forward with that. But if you are the type of person that's trying to look at this to say, how can I actually catapult myself? Choosing to stiffen your discipline right now is the only way that you are going to come out stronger on the other side of that. And the reason for that is if you don't choose that now, if you don't be that person now, how will you make that change then? How will you have set yourself up then for what you're already not willing to commit to at this moment? If you choose to just let yourself go a little bit in this time frame, you are going to be at a loss. Don't let yourself take the loss right now. There will be enough losses that all of us are going to take in a variety of areas. Don't let yourself be somebody who's contributing to the losses of the situation. Contribute to the gains of the situation. So sure, these losses are going to hit. These losses are going to happen. But what you're going to allow yourself to do is say, but I gained this on the other side. So for me, this is, I think I've honestly lost track because I'm not counting any longer how long I've made this change. Like, I've indefinitely made a change in my life, and I've made this change in 5 different areas. But it's funny. I remember listening to an audiobook a few years ago where a guy was talking about smokers, and he said, people who give up smoking, if you've really given it up, don't continue to count the days because it's not a part of you any longer. Like, you are no longer a smoker. You are just a person. So continuing to count makes it seem like there is an opportunity or a possibility to go back and to be that person again. But if you've really committed to not being a smoker and not being that person, the days are irrelevant because that's not who you are any longer. It's not who defines you. And I feel like I've absolutely taken that mindset with these new habits that I've created. As many of you know from listening to the Age Gap Realness podcast, I've always struggled with falling asleep. I've always struggled with getting enough sleep. And through this, I think it's something that mentally it's weakened me. It's always been that thing where I'm willing to be really disciplined in a whole bunch of areas, but my sleeping patterns is not one that I'm able to really commit to. And I made a sweeping change of being in bed every single night, including the weekends, at 9:30. Like, without question, everybody in this house knows that I am upstairs by 9. I'm taking my makeup off. I'm getting ready because that is part of the discipline that I need in my life right now to have a gain, to make sure that I feel every morning like I am winning and in control of my environment. So the things that I can control throughout the day continue to go up instead of continuing to make me feel like I'm losing or I'm cheating myself or I'm not holding myself up as the person that I should be and can be. The second thing that I'm doing is waking up before the sunrise. So I go to bed in bed by 9:30 and I am up before the sun rises every day. That includes weekends. That has been so helpful for me because when I wake up in the morning and I see the darkness and I watch the sun rise and I'm either working out or I'm taking a shower or I'm just mentally preparing myself, I feel stronger. Even though like I still fight those moments. This morning I woke up and was like, I really want to go to bed. Nobody is going to know if I don't go to bed, and I can just continue to say that I'm doing all of these hard things and nobody's going to know that this particular day, April 2nd, I didn't do it. And as soon as I had that thought, that's like an old thought. As soon as that thought happened, I was like, nope, no way. That is why I need to wake up right now, because I don't want to be that person for myself. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I need to know on the other side of this that I can choose to do really hard things and that I can stay disciplined in the things that need to happen right now. So those are the first two. Has to do with morning, has to do with the evening. The third thing is I am now working out every single day. I was already like a 3 to 4 times a week kind of person, but every single day having the commitment to work out forces that me time to move away from Instagram, to move away from TikTok. I have a very finite amount of time when I'm not working to literally run or lift weights, maybe get like 45 minutes of loaf time, like if there might be a television show that we all get to watch together, or we all get to make dinner together. But for the most part, adding the workout, the hour-long time frame every single day, makes it so that I have to be active and I have to be spending my time doing something that's going to pull me forward, not add additional loaf time. So that's been incredibly helpful. And then the fourth thing that I'm doing is, this is more recent. This was in like the last few days, but I'm drinking a gallon of water. Why I'm doing that? Because I can see every single day or every single hour as I'm making progress through this gallon. I'm like, oh yes, I'm winning. It's creating this controllable environment around me every single day, every single hour, that I am winning and that I am in control and that I can set myself up for success. Because in a lot of areas, it's easy to feel like you can't do that. You're not allowed to go out to certain places. You're not allowed to work in the same environment. You're not allowed to still see people. So this environment, you have to be able to control. The last thing that I'm doing during this time every single day is training. I am doing at least 30 minutes of online training and learning. How many of you have ever bought a course where you were so excited about doing the course and you got 20% of the way through and you never finished it, and that skill set is now not something that you're an expert at? I've done it a million times. Like, I am the queen of buying courses or buying books and not finishing them. But what I recognize right now is I need to sharpen my skill set that I am bringing to the table for whatever the world is going to look like on the other side of this. My skill set and my success is dependent upon me using this time right now. If I am not feeling confident in an area, let's say I'm not feeling confident in sales, now is the time that I would be choosing to learn how I can sell and be applying that into the world that I think I'm going to have to be selling into. Like, what are the objections I'm going to hear? I'm going to hear price objections. I'm going to be confronted with people not feeling certain and people not feeling confident for what they should be buying. So how do I take that on and learn and practice and drill and rehearse for 30 minutes every single day right now, so that it doesn't hit me like a ton of bricks in a month from now or 2 months from now, or however long that takes. If it's 12 months, whatever, my skill set on the other side of this will be sharper and I will be more prepared. I might not be fully prepared. I likely will never be able to be fully prepared, because the reality is we don't know. We don't know what this is going to look like. We don't know the time frame, and we don't know what the world is going to look like, and we don't know what business is going to look like. If I have all of these unknowns, though, I do know what my current level of skill set is. And if you think about your competencies, where are you a little weak right now? And where could you get stronger that would really catapult you? You have the time. Now is the time to take that time and actually use it for something that's going to be helpful for you to be able to recreate yourself, and start all over again. For many people, it will be starting all over again. For me, I feel like I have started an entirely different job in the last 2 weeks than I had before. And even though I have not lost my job, I really do feel like that job is lost. Like, it's gone. I'm as prepared as I could be, but I feel ill prepared for the job that I'm doing right now. So it's my responsibility as a leader to make sure that I am preparing myself and I am learning and taking in the right data to be able to take this moment right now, take tomorrow, take the day after, and level up my skills to meet it with the best version of me to serve our team and also to serve our clients. And I urge you guys to do the exact same thing. Use this time, use this time, use this time. If there's like one message right now that I'm just like hammering home with people, it's use this time and get creative with it. Like we have this opportunity. This opportunity is that we can be creative. We can choose to say, okay, what might the world look like, and how can I think about the way that I'm doing business a little bit differently in order to serve this new world, in order to serve this new set of demands. People are still spending money. People have not stopped spending money. They're just spending their money differently. And how do you attach yourself to those things? So, how are you using this time? I urge you to use this time. I'd love to know how you are using this time. I'm creating a calendar on my social accounts where I just track how I'm doing from an accountability standpoint. I'd love for you guys to join me in that. Some of you already have, which is so awesome to see other people holding themselves accountable to the same things or sometimes different things. But pick your things. Pick the things that you're going to do every single day to use this time to make it work for you, to make you better on the other side, to be able to use your time. And with that, have an amazing day, and I can't wait to catch up with you on the next WorkWoman episode.